You're listening to the voice of Madam C. Ibina Asante, author of Parents Take Charge, Hold Them Accountable. You've made a wise investment by purchasing this audio book. You are clearly demonstrating you are taking charge. Now, if the goal of teaching is academic achievement, every school achieving less than 75% proficiency should be held accountable to the point of dismissal. A sentences of ills have a ripple effect on an entire community. We must take charge and hold them accountable. Asante Sana Expressions is a literature-based business designed to transform individual development and critical thinking through the means of self-help books and fiction novels. Parents Take Charge, Hold Them Accountable is in the category of self-help. For more information, please contact Ibina at parentstakecharge.info. All rights reserved. No part of this audio may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted by any means electronic, mechanical, photocopying, recording, or otherwise without written permission from the author, Ibina Asante. This audio is published in the United States of America. This audio is developed in 25 parts. Table of contents, acknowledgments, prologue, introduction, labor of love, 10 tools, which are the principles, real talk. It's taxpayers' dollars. What does the instruction reveal? Too much schooling. Gifts within. Get ready for the function at the junction. Inspect the products. Children are our future. Be visible. A change in the atmosphere. And final thoughts of encouragement. Acknowledgments. Foremost, I give the greatest acknowledgement to my higher deity, who reveals all things. That quiet voice anoints us as a servant to deliver the word. Where it leads, I will follow. Cherishing the memories of my Medea, missionary Maxine Douglas Jones Milton, may she rest in peace. Her motto of parental involvement was to serve breakfast in the classroom, then clean up the mess. Little did she know, the mess would get bigger, figuratively speaking. She was our first teacher instilling wisdom, charity, and grace. The sun would set on my dad when I was 6 years old. His job was complete after pioneering from Louisiana to settle us in the Frederick Douglass City, coined as the Plantation of the North, recorded as the 10th richest city in the USA, yet our children live in 100% of concentrated poverty. This comes from the radio voice of Minister Florence, Central Church of Christ in Rochester, New York. My father had the vision to want a better life for his family. The rest was up to us. Much love and unity at the mention of my 5 siblings. Alfred, may he rest in peace. Rosetta, Ronald, Wilfred, may he rest in peace. And Henry, the Jones family. Our road has not been easy, but we had clarity. May your children and their children's children continue to struggle to a level of peace, harmony, and resilience. To my 4 children, Sharon, Empress, Cornelius, and Chad, I hope you now understand why I would show up at your schools unannounced and why I have no regrets for putting you in check first, then double check your teachers. Please do the same with your children and grands. I was that parent taking charge naturally. Friends who remain in the shadow are hard to find. Through social and business networks, I have met a host of personalities and have made numerous acquaintances. One such person, I must acknowledge, evolved into a lasting friendship. Sandra Hollins Brooks. Unselfish act of placing my name on a considerable promotion certainly guided my journey. That lateral move may have been a deciding factor in my career. In the essence of life, God's will is to place people for a purpose, which is called Nia. I am immensely grateful to the education warriors and scholars who are mentioned in the book. Continue to enlighten the people, and one day, we're at war. The revolution is now being televised, and we can't stop now. It was important to have a diverse group of reviewers in different locations to avoid bias. Much appreciation to the astute friends who accepted my request and gave an honest critique. Bless you, Empress, a parent, business person in Georgia, Courtney, a parent in Louisiana, Dr. Gray, she's educator, administrator in Tennessee, Ariana, teacher, Chicago, Illinois, Jessica, teacher, parent, Buffalo, New York, and my Rochester, New York family, Anthony, parent, business, Valerie, parent, community, and Vanna, parent, liaison. I strongly believe every family should have representation in all areas of trade skills to professionals. Each generation should do better than the last. I owe most of the editing to my niece, B. Stodgehill, who quietly pulled my coat after reading the second galley and said, I got this. Thank you for sharing your academia with Auntie. Much love to any oversight. Last, but certainly not in the least category, are the parents, students, faith-based, and grassroots communities. I believe in the intelligence of our community, but we must hold them accountable. Before we can hold them accountable, you must be held at the highest level of the spectrum. Without you, there will be no charge, hence, no change. In the big scheme of education, the roles I've had as a certified teacher, educator for over 30 years, placed me in a position to be under the oppression of some very authoritative people. Much to my chagrin, rather than quit as they would have wanted, it would be the bitter taste I experienced to write this book. So, to them, thank you for being that serendipity turned motivation, inspiring me to be the voice for parents. And thank you, my readers, for committing to a shift in the way we do business. The paradigm shift is now. The charge must show the strictest fidelity of justice. Considering the state of schools, we must face serious facts. Test scores are a clear sign our students are not making the grade. If that is the measure of success, we in turn are the stakeholders, allowing failures unless we take charge and hold each other accountable. We can invest now or pay later. One way or the other, the handwriting is on the wall. Illiteracy, I repeat, illiteracy is the bondage of a people. An uneducated person will fail. Prologue. You're probably wondering, what gave me the ability to write this book other than being a teacher? My experience comes from wearing several hats. First, as a child of God, anointed at the age of 7 years old in a holiness church, 16 Helena Street, Rochester, New York. Next, life's milestones and thinking on my feet to develop on-the-job parental involvement skills. It came along the way as an active community member of numerous organizations, holding leadership and supporting roles. Most of the experience I write about in this text is the active role for the last 35 plus years as an educator in the urban school district. So when did I realize it was time for me to take charge and hold them accountable? I could give you a host of examples, but at the risk of losing your interest, I will share a few concerning issues that raised my antenna. There was an alarming situation when my youngest daughter cried about the teacher hitting her with a ruler and pulling her hair. My visit could have been the end of that teacher's career, but I gave her a break after she and the school's administrator played on my emotions with a sad song. However, over the years, whenever I would see her, that teacher, it was still a bitter, sweet greeting. My parental skills really developed with the fourth child. A child brought into this world in my midlife certainly was a change in my life. Admittedly, my leverage as a teacher equipped me to know what questions to ask and what to look for when I observed classrooms. Not that I meant to dominate the conferences, but I just couldn't help myself. I was that parent, now teacher. So I had my little questions for the teachers. There were a few instances when his teachers became frustrated at my boldness. One of the teachers asked the principal to stop the frequent visits. Another teacher blamed me for my son sleeping in class and missing the assignments. That teacher was enraged when I said, you know, if you didn't talk all the time and have such a boring class, maybe he wouldn't sleep. Anyways, that's what he said. For that episode, the teacher did take ownership on how the lessons were presented and modified the delivery. It became a win-win. I never forgot the tears that flooded my son's 7th grade teacher in a parent-teacher conference to discuss grades. Needless to say, other issues were affecting her pedagogy. Now, although the purpose of this handbook is to empower you to develop skills to navigate the educational system, it is also to put us, teachers, on notice. When we talk about accountability, we cannot leave out the community. That's special interest groups, faith-based churches, and organizations. Because it really takes our village to raise our children. Introduction. It's really a sense of urgency. This is a self-empowerment handbook for parents, students, advocates, and the educational community. It was paid by our elders, inspired by our scholars. I heard the anointed prophet, a Bible Way Healing Temple in Rochester, New York, say, children are the greatest gifts of earthly values. Keeping that message in mind, she went on to explain the importance of training up a child in the way you would want them to go. Bible Way Healing Temple, West Henrietta, New York. That was Dr. Eula M. Nelson. This verse is referenced in the Holy Bible. Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way that you will want them to go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. This reference guide is primarily written for parents, students, community advocates, and I repeat, the educational community, respectively. While this guide, Parents Take Charge, Hold Them Accountable, advocates for urban parents of African descent, the advocacy preparation is universal, from the laid-back rural valley to the suburban elites. It seems the fight for justice, equality in education is only in the United States of America, where people of color are always petitioning for something. I'll tell you, the begging for crumbs to get respect and fairness must end. Education is the silent voice to demand respect. The time is overdue. The time is now. But I just don't know who I'm talking to anymore. So let me talk to the choir in the absence of parents. I don't know who I'm talking to anymore. The children tune me out and my people close the door. I just don't know who's listening anymore. I tried to tell you was right, but you just